Welcome to the first Business Builder of 2023. I'm so excited to have so many people here today and from all over the place. It's very exciting. Linda shared with me the most wonderful introduction, which I am just going to read to you because I just think it's awesome as it is. So Linda grew up in a village called Rose in West Yorkshire, England. She has one sister, and together with her parents and their dog, they immigrated to South Africa in 1984. We're so glad you did, Linda. Linda has been married to Evan for 30 years and they have two daughters, Lauren, who is a game ranger at Mala Mala Reserve in the Kruger, and Morgan, who is a qualified sound engineer and now studying law. They've lived in the same house in Mondial for 27 years. Linda loves travel and nature, food and wine, dancing, reading, and jigsaw puzzles. She has the good fortune to travel to Paris, Berlin, Madrid, and Zurich, as well as do some amazing road trips around Namibia and South Africa. She has taken part in stage performances doing tap, modern, jazz, and hip-hop dances. And Jamie Oliver is her favorite chef. She hopes to be able to hire him to work for her one day. Throughout Linda's long career in the financial industry with two of the top 4 banks in South Africa, she has gained knowledge and experience that she now has a passion to share with others, especially small business owners. She has a BCom Financial Management and Advanced Diploma in Management Administration, and she is a certified supply chain professional. Linda is now a business strategy coach, and she started her own practice called Just Ask Linda in 2018. Since then, Linda has coached and mentored a number of South African small business owners to grow their businesses, and she loves the entrepreneurial adventure that she is on. Her key to success is being honest, focused, determined, and adaptable. Something you may not know about Linda is that she would love to be able to time travel. A particular time she would visit would be the early 20th century, think Downton Abbey, where she could wear long, beautiful dresses, attend dances in the ballroom, take tea in the drawing room, long strolls around the estate. Alternatively, back to the 80s, where life was simpler, music was great, although we will not talk about the questionable fashion and hair. Please help me to welcome the amazing Linda Dent.
Right. Thank you for that introduction, Tamarin. Just checking that you are seeing the screen with my Just Ask Linda logo. My name is Linda Dent, business growth coach and puzzle solver. I love puzzles. Jigsaw puzzles, crossword puzzles, Wordle, and even those little metal ones you get in the Christmas crackers. But I especially love the puzzles of small business owners and entrepreneurs in general. Today, I'm going to introduce you to my signature GLEE method. It's a process to complete a beautiful puzzle of your own for your life, your business, your future, and to find joy in what you do. I discovered this method through some self-reflection, reviewing the kind of things that make me tick, and I've developed it over the last 5 years. Now, the grow and the learn, because it's GLEE stands for grow, learn, empower, and enjoy. I'll repeat that later. But the grow and the learn part have been with me since as long as I can remember. Learning comes naturally, reading books, doing badges in brownies and Girl Guides, my studies, and throughout my career, the opportunity to be learn from training and from new challenges. The 2 E's, empower and enjoy, they've actually come along later in my life, but are, in my mind, the keys to making life even better. So what is this thing called GLEE? As I said, it's grow, learn, empower, and enjoy. Now, I'm a planner. I think about what I want to achieve and how I'm going to do that. And then I write it down as goals for the next year and break that down to the next quarter and turn to the next month, this week, and today. It all cascades in reverse back to today. And these goals are all based on my GLEE philosophy, which states that I should take a positive action that have one or more of these results. So one, to grow my business and myself by setting goals, measuring performance, adjusting the sales, and tapping into those different aspects of my personality each year. So to learn how to use my strengths, numerology, things like Enneagram, human design, and anything else that's interesting, I just absorb, right? In order for me to grow and empower others. So thirdly, it's to empower clients or connections or somebody in my network or family for that matter to build their businesses or reach their dreams with GLEE. And I use this word often. GLEE, of course, another meaning for it is joy. And what is life without joy? The last E in joy is to enjoy life and experience special moments with family and friends. Right, so bear with me, guys, because this is a process that I follow. It may resonate with you. You may end up going, oh my word, that is just such a lot. Or, you know, you say, well, I do things a little bit differently. But I hope through this explanation, you pick up one or two golden nuggets, just little pearls lying around that you can make a note or two, and that it will help you in your planning for 2023. So let's get going. So the first step, and you might not, this might not sound like typical planning from a business coach or an accountant for that matter, but my first step is to make an appointment with my life coach. And I do this as early as possible in January every year. My life coach, her name is Jade. We've been doing this for 5 years now, so you can tell that I'm committed to that. And in this session, we make sure that everything left undone from the previous year is completed in one way or another. And what does that mean? Well, you can either finish what you meant to have done last year and you've left it, you know, you went on a holiday in December and you've left it a little bit late, and you can finish that in January. Or you can decide that one of the things that you were planning to do is it just never felt right and you need to let it go. And that is something that happened to me. But once you've let it go, you've accepted it, you've let it go, then you can be free to plan the new year. Sometimes there's more complicated things like relationships that will take a lot longer to get through, but I'm just, you know, just bear with me in this. I'm just talking about some of the things that you can let go of. Make sure that you do that. Then we discuss what ideas are in my mind for the year ahead. And at the end of our discussion, she helps me to craft some what we call self-personal and professional creations. Now, creations are statements. They're written statements, and they're powerfully written, not just like I want to lose weight or I want to grow my business. Those are not powerful statements, right? With specific details around what, when, how, where, etc. I'll give you 2 examples. One example of mine was, this is what I wrote. I said, I will declutter my house by the 31st of January, 2023. It's an intentional statement. It's relatively specific. Maybe it could be more specific, and it has a deadline. It has a date by which I've intended to do that. And decluttering, by the way, in my mind is taking all those boxes out of the corner and packing them and putting stuff away or throwing the box away, cleaning things in my house, you know, to make it all fresh for the year ahead, and shredding all this freaking paperwork that I've accumulated over the years. So I'm well on my way to achieving that objective just because I intentionally wrote it down. The second example is more business like, and it's this. I will record and share one GLEE jar moment per week on LinkedIn to clearly show what living a gleeful life can look like. If you don't know what a GLEE jar moment is, please can I ask you to go and find me on LinkedIn, Linda Dent, just ask Linda. And for the last couple of weeks, I've been telling you what a GLEE jar moment is. All right, what's next? And here, this is also, maybe you thinking this is strange, but we'll stay with you, Linda. I look to something called my numerology chart, and it's based on my date of birth, when I was born, very similar to sort of an astrology, maybe a lot of human design, gene keys. There's a lot of things based on your date of birth. But I got this report, and it kind of guides me just generally, not specifically, but generally, what's likely to happen in my life in the year ahead. And according to numerology, we go through these 9-year cycles. And to be honest with you, I can look back over 50 plus years and see how those 9-year cycles have rolled around. It's fascinating to me. If you want to know more about numerology, I'm not a certified coach by any means, but I can certainly share some discussion with you, a chat over coffee. So part of this is an understanding that each person's unique. And so my method may not work for you, or as I said before, it may resonate with you. But I'm just sharing it for the principles behind it. So it's about learning, moving forward with clarity and understanding about where you're going in the future. I've set my yearly theme, and this is what the slide is telling you. It's usually a word. Jade says, pick a word for the year because it kind of just manifests itself. And I read through numerology and I come up with these words. So for the last 5 years, I've had these themes. In 2019, just ask Linda, which is, of course, my business name. I was very driven on the professional side, starting my business in that year. In 2020, just be Linda, which was a reminder in a great deal to myself to be more than my business, you know, be there for your family and your friends and things like that, and yourself. Just listen, Linda, you know, there's a little bit of fun on that little video of the boy who speaks to his mom and goes, just listen, Linda, listen, Linda. And again, a kind of reminder to myself that in all my interactions that maybe I speak too much, and that I should sit back and do the thing where you listen with the 2 ears and speak with the one mouth. There in that proportion for a reason. And last year was just dance, Linda, because in my bio, Tamara mentioned that I do love to dance. I do dance on stage. So I had some goals associated with that last year, but it also meant be creative. And that creativity actually came out in a lot of what I do. It might just be the way I set up my website or a LinkedIn post, or how I interacted in a networking event. So it has all these, it just makes the whole year fun. And this year, which is interesting for me because I'm not known for my feelings, is just love, Linda. So I'll tell you later in the year what's going on there. Okay, so of myself and all the people I know, of course, and the world in general, and all its creatures and animals, I'm going to share with you 2 stories. This doesn't look like a normal business coaching slide, right? But on Boxing Day, my family and I went to Mike's Kitchen, Parktown. It's a World Heritage Site near Johannesburg in South Africa. And we had a family breakfast there. We sat outside and there were a few bees around because it's summer here, right? So, you know, for those of you who are in the Northern Hemisphere, but everyone's shooing away the bees like you do. And I don't know exactly why, but I put out my hand and silently told the bees they can come to me. And one did. It came and sat on my hand and it moved around between my fingers, tickling me. And then it kind of probed my fingernail. And it was an incredibly special moment where I connected with another living creature in perfect harmony. And I have never done anything like that before. So it was just wonderful. And I thought, you know, I actually do love this bee, strange as that seems. And then the second story about the cat. So I'm a dog person, very much a dog person. I had 11 dogs in my life, 12 dogs in my life, actually. And at my coach Jade's house, her cat, she's got a couple of cats, and her cat jumped on the table in front of me, turned over and seemed to beg to be tickled. Now I hesitated because I've not touched a cat in 30 years since I had an allergic reaction to one, a bad allergic reaction. Now this cat seemed to insist. So I took a risk. I reached out and tickled her, and she was so beautifully soft and gorgeous. And I thought, well, I'm only here for an hour. The worst case scenario, I can get home quickly, get my, antihistamine if I need to. Well, I didn't have a single reaction to tickling this cat. Fancy that. So yeah, those are just two stories to show you that if you kind of open yourself up to a theme, something happens in the universe to help you to understand why that was what the word or the theme or the plan you have. And it just makes the rest, all this businessy stuff, it makes it easier and more fun to do. So let's get on to the planning part, because that's what I'm known for as a business coach, right? Not all this soft, fluffy stuff and bees and cats and love and all the rest of it. But I am getting there, guys. I am getting there, I promise. So the next thing I do is open a Word document, right? And I write 4 headings. Grow, learn, empower, enjoy. You guessed it. And under those headings, I pick 3 to 5 intentional statements based on what I did with Jade, these creating statements for your professional, your personal, and yourself, your soul. And at the end of it, I've got 16 to 20 statements in all, and they're all specifically laid out. And then I write a few words summarizing my intentions for the year, just so that I've got these words, and these are my words. And you're going to see on the left-hand side more to do with the professional or the business stuff, right? These aren't the specific statements. I'm just giving you the general feel. But there's some things here that I would need to do to build my business and grow my business, right? On the right-hand side, you've seen unconditional love. You've seen something flavor, spice, and color. What on earth does she mean? But that's something I can share with you in a one-to-one virtual coffee if you're interested to find out a little bit more about the flavor, spice, and color thing, because we haven't got all day. And wildflowers is a new hobby I've got. Find some flowers, identify what they are. And, at the same time, I'm going on a nice long walk and getting fit. So these things sort of combine quite nicely. And time with my mom. She's 80 years old this year, and I think it's vitally important to take out tea at least once a week. All right, and then this looks crazy. Don't even try and read it. But this is the tool that I use in my business coaching practice. It's called the one-page strategic plan. There's a little bit cut off towards the bottom, but effectively that's what it is. It is a strategic plan in one place. It includes everything that I've just talked about before, but summarized into a theme and a couple of, shorter statements, right? It includes my personal values, my strengths, my business's strengths, and the whole SWOT analysis you may have heard of on the top. What are my strengths? Any weaknesses, which I hate that word, right? We all had it in corporate life, but for me, it's actually something that you can decide, am I going to work on that? Is it something I can work on? Or am I going to find a partner, an outsource person, an employee who can fill that gap for me so that it can make my business stronger? And knowing those things has made those decisions much, much easier. The opportunities and the threats, there are threats out there, right? Competition, the economy, you got to be aware of some of these things and decide and understand whether they're going to have a massive impact on your business one way or the other. And then you can make decisions about what do you do about it. If you ignore it, if you stick your head in the sand and say, I'm just going to pull in the China shop forward here, chances are your business will fail. And I know I've come down from my high down to the very low here. It probably will fail, because we all know if you fail to plan, there's a chance you plan to fail, right? It's a well-known statement, and I do believe in that. Having said that, you don't have to plan to the nth degree like Linda, because this is me and this is how I do it, but I do recommend some form of something, please. And if you can pick up any nuggets from here and utilize it for yourself, then you are welcome to it, right? This is, as I say, the strategic plan. What else does it include? It does include figures. You can't see figures if you've got really great eyesight. I took them out, you know, because I'm not kind of willing to share all of that with you right now. But under that, there across from left to right is a timeline. It starts with sort of your big, hairy, audacious goal and your 10, maybe 15, maybe even 5-year plan, whatever your long-term plan is. It drills down into a medium-term plan, 3 to 5 years typically. It drills down again into a 1-year plan, which is this year or your financial year, whichever you prefer. And then you drill it down into the quarter or the next 3 months, because that's more manageable chunk than trying to deal with everything that you want to do over the 10 years. And that's where under that you see words, and it literally drills down the same. There's like one bold statement, you know, that I want to have the biggest successful business coach in the world. Do I have that today? No. How am I going to get there step by step by step? And just drilling back down to what action could I take today? You know, I could join a global network of sorts so that I meet people all over the world, so that that dream starts to move in that direction, for example. Okay, hope you're still with me. We're not that far from the end. Go back a slide. So here I've got something called a GLEE questionnaire. I had shared it last year, and you're very welcome to give it a bash, and I will give you feedback. It's a 4-part questionnaire, also aligned to the grow, learn, empower, enjoy. And I ask a few questions to help you get clear on some of these things that would go into that strategic plan if you were to work with me over a longer term. So there's just some questions here that you might want to take a note of. In this particular questionnaire, I share a link to something called the 16personalities.com. It's a website, and you can do a free test and you get a personality report. It's quite interestingly, the images are very cool. So it's a very cool report, and it provides you with some lovely words that properly describe your values and strengths. You know, people have the wrong words to describe themselves. They say things like, oh, I'm a perfectionist. I've been told I'm a perfectionist, or I'm not a very good salesperson, right? And they say these kinds of words instead of being able to say, instead of perfectionist, you can explain to people in a few more words. You can say, I enjoy getting the details right. It's important to me to get the details right. And instead of saying, oh, I'm not a salesperson, you can say, my strengths are aligned more with one-to-one coaching than they are to selling a product or a service. Do you see how it's completely different? So I really recommend you listen to yourself, you know, just listen, Linda, and you see, what am I saying? What am I saying? Does it sound right? And this report can give you, it costs you nothing. It's just a bit of fun. And you can use some of those really cool words to help others understand you. In the second element of learn, I said before, there's just some questions, just like, what is it that really, get to know what really interests you? Is it really scrolling through Instagram day in and day out and liking cat videos? Is there something more, you know, are you really keen to learn how to cook Italian food? You know, there must be more than just like, oh, I like these things, right? And I also say it's very important to figure out what are other people saying about you? Not so much a family, because they can be quite direct, but if you do have a website or a social media page and you do ask for reviews, look at the reviews, because people, and just look for the words. The whole sentence isn't important. It's those words that say, you know, Linda has high integrity maybe, or Linda explains things in a very easy to understand way. Those things are gold that you can share with somebody else. The third one being empowering. It's, you know, it's mentoring, inspiring, making these connections, sharing your knowledge. You might not believe it, but I'm really an introvert. A lot of people do say this. I prefer kind of being on my own, reading my book with a glass of wine, maybe. But reaching out and making connections has inspired me and given me energy. And in short bursts, I can do it really well now, you know, and it doesn't even, it looks like I'm a complete extrovert, but you know, it's important. You can't just sit and hide. You've got to get out there if you think you're going to share your business with others and help others with whatever skill you have in particular. So consider some of these questions, think about it. And the fourth element, the most vital in my mind, is this enjoy one. It's too often I see struggling entrepreneurs who are clearly not having fun. And of course, there are a multitude of challenges out there, you know, family crises, global issues, loss of clients, financial woes. I'm not saying stick your head in the sand, but do you really want to be stuck in this whirlwind, or do you want to try and find a way out of it and get some release? Allow yourself to have a bit of fun, and slowly you actually learn to handle those downturns with grit and grace. So, you know, ask yourself some of these questions. What gives you energy? Where would you like to travel? It's good to daydream a bit, even if you don't have the money, right? Who do you love being with? And how do they make you feel? I've learned about feelings over the last few years, and it's important to, you know that you don't feel like, oh, this person's attacking me, this person, even a client, right? If a client is just making you feel miserable, why do you hold on to them? Let them go. Open space for the ones that you like working with. And of course, how often do you take breaks? I found it's very important to set boundaries. I do that. I want you to live with glee while you manage the practical realities of running a business. So do you have any questions? Would you like a free consultation? I do offer that. It's not fancy. We have a coffee and we get to know each other a little bit, and I ask you some questions and you share what you want, and then we see what's the best way forward. I want to let you know it's not as expensive as you might think, because some of the business coaches out there are charging at least triple, I think. But if you're looking for a business partner or a coach that you can trust to have your best interests at heart and guide you along the trickier parts of those puzzles, you know, while you implement the GLEE method in your business, then just ask Linda. One more slide. Here's a quote that I like. It says, "Your life is a jigsaw puzzle wrapped up in a drawstring bag. There's no box or picture to guide you, though. You simply set the edges in place, and then you build the picture bit by bit, step by step." But maybe you need a little help from Linda. So here are some of my contact details. If you want to take a screenshot, or I'm sure with those of you who came via LinkedIn, you can just go to my LinkedIn page and find, you know, anything and everything you need there, including a contact number if you wanted to send me a WhatsApp or an SMS to reach out if you can't do the Calendly link for a meeting. And that is it. Tamron, back to you. Perhaps we can just have a Q&A session if that's what everyone would like.
Thank you so much, Linda. That's awesome. It's a really good summary of the right questions to ask yourself for the year ahead. So I'm sure everyone found it extremely useful. I have put your contact details in the chat for anyone who want to connect with Linda. Just connect with those links. Also, when we send out the recording for this webinar, we will include your links there as well. So
awesome.
There is no excuse for people not to connect with you. Are there any questions from anyone? You can put them in the chat, or you're welcome to put your camera and mic on and just ask directly. I see Michelle has said she's definitely going to contact you via LinkedIn, so that's good.
Oh, wonderful. That's cool, Michelle. I look forward to chatting with you.
Are there no questions at all? You have Linda's undivided attention as a business coach. There must be some question about planning your year. While people think about their questions, Linda, I'm actually going to ask you, I know you said you've been explaining your GLEE method on LinkedIn, but I love your GLEE method and your GLEE jar so much. So while people are thinking about questions, will you explain your GLEE jar very quickly for us?
Well, I'll actually show you. So I'm just going to take off my background here to make it a bit easier. So this is my GLEE jar. As you can see, GLEE, GLEE jar. It's a very simple mason jar, and inside there are a few little pieces of colored paper. And on these papers are those GLEE jar moments. So for example, not that one, I want to give you one that I did recently, because I'm just starting to fill it up this year. So last week, this is what I said. These are my GLEE jar moments for last week. A GLEE jar moment is when you've got something to celebrate, when you've had something good happen, or you've met somebody fabulous, or you delivered a great speech at Toastmasters or something, anything like that. So it's about reflecting on the day or the week and saying, or even in the moment, wow, this happened to me. This is awesome. I'm going to celebrate it and write it down before I forget about it. So last week, I had 6 GLEE jar moments, and they're all kind of aligned to that GLEE goals, right? The first one was I got a new client. Yay! Had a one-to-one, had some coffee. She loved what I had to say, signed up as a coaching client. So I was very excited about that. I also was having such fun talking about numerology with several people, and they were fascinated and wanted to know more. So those are just like a good general chat with people. I had some what I call virtual cuppers with people in my networks, which were a little more structured. We had a topic that we were talking about, and I wanted to share my ideas with them and have them share their ideas with me, and then determine a way forward. And I had a couple of really good ones. I organized the district governor visit for my Rotary Club, because I'm the secretary for my local Rotary Club, and our district governor was visiting, and I helped our president by putting the program in place, organizing all the people to give feedback that they were going to be there. So we had the numbers for the catering, etc., etc. And it felt good. It felt good to organize and just do something for somebody else. Then number 5, I had some good LinkedIn activity. I put out my posts, and people were like, what is this? What is that? What's a GLEE jar moment? And then there was some correspondence, and it was fun. I really enjoyed doing that, and it's getting closer to people and sharing something that you hope is of value to them. And lastly, I had a lovely birthday tea with my sister. So that's the sort of thing that is a GLEE jar moment that you put into your GLEE jar. And the most important thing is, if you're feeling down, if something has gone wrong, because it does, right? Or it's raining too much, or it's cold in winter, just grab your GLEE jar, keep it on your desk, grab it, open it, empty out and read a few of them. And then you go, oh, that's what it's all about. That's why I'm in this business. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's just the most amazing thing, you know, and then you can just celebrate all over again and your troubles float away.
I love it. I think it's one of the best motivational techniques I've ever heard. So I love it when you share it every time. We do have 2 questions though. So
Yes.
Monia has asked, what is the average time you invest in the beginning of the year to strategize and set your goals?
Right. So I mean, I've just done it, right? So I can easily answer your question, Monia. I mean, I had an hour session with my coach. I came back and I reflected on that for possibly another hour. I'm pretty sure it was another hour. I then opened that Word document and got all those headings in place, but I had last year's one. So it was almost like, you know, it's easy just to, you're not writing the whole thing, you're just updating it. So that probably took me half an hour, 45 minutes at the most. And then I translated that into my 1-page strategic plan, which again, I wasn't starting from scratch. You know, I was updating it. So in total, I think I spent, let's say 4 to 5 hours, which I don't believe is excessive when you're planning your year, and it saves you plenty of time in the long run. Like way more of that time in the long run, because it's there now. I've got my 1-page strategic plan. I can refer back to it at any point. I've got my Word document. I can refer back to it at any point. I've got my notes from Jade's session, which are in my drawer. And the most important thing is that I do refer back to it constantly. Not every day, but at least once a month. So I go back and I say, am I still on track? Is there something that needs to be adjusted? Have I had a terrible month? That happens, right? Last year, I had 2 terrible months. April, October, I was sick. Nothing was going right. No new clients. Everything was terrible. But you go back to that and go, oh, okay, let me just reset and continue on from there. It's not like, what am I, you know, the rest of the year is ridiculous. It's not going to happen. I'm a failure. You don't have those thoughts. You just allow yourself the dip, and then you can go and just refer back to what you've already put together. So I think 4 to 5 hours is absolutely essential if you want to have a smoother year than you used to. Hope that answers your question, Monia.
I 100% agree, and I agree with Maya when she says it's not a lot. She thought it was more. So thank you. Yeah,
no.
It's not a lot.
Look, I know what I'm doing, and I've done it for 5 years, right? So if you're starting from scratch, let's double that. Let's say it takes 10 hours to do, yeah? Because you're starting from a 0 base.
But as you say, it's 10 hours that save you a lot of pain and worry down the line. So it's very well spent.
So you could kind of do it in like a few sessions, right? Like let's say if you were going to work with me, I could guide you and we could have a session once a month, but then you would be doing things in the background. You would be spending some of your own time doing homework, as it were. Like I'd say, okay, let me explain how the 1-page strategic plan works. Now go away, look at your values and your SWOT analysis. We'll talk about it, but come back, fill it in. Let's review it. Let's go to the next piece. So it doesn't have to be all in one session.
Yes, yeah. It actually ties very nicely to our second question, because Michelle asked, is it possible to overplan? She says there's so much information out there regarding planning and goals that she tends to feel overwhelmed.
I agree. It's that time of year, right? It's like New Year's resolutions. Everyone's going, you need a plan, you must set some goals and objectives. I mean, I'm also with Toastmasters, so it's like Toastmasters, Rotary, there's a couple of other networks I'm with, my own business, like you're setting objectives all over the place. right? And that's kind of the trickle down thing from what I've just explained. So if it's with Rotary, for example, then what aspect of my GLEE statements relates to Rotary? Is it just being, just lending a hand and being organized? Is it providing my fellow Rotarians with love? What aspect of it? And then it then becomes less onerous to fill in the other objectives. You're not starting again with every one of them. You keeping it clear in your head what your objectives are for your future, and then you deciding how that fits in with other people's plans. And I feel that might sound a bit on the selfish side, but the overwhelm comes because you say yes to too many things. And to say, let me look at it. Like say, even what I put there today, if you are overwhelmed by that, then fair enough. I wouldn't submit to that if you overwhelmed by, and there, absolutely, I come across people who will go, oh my god, financial numbers, you're just scaring me to bits. And so just at least try one thing, which is just to write down those intentional statements for your year, and make it 5 if you can't do more. Just sit and reflect for a bit and say, and don't just say I want to grow my business. Say I intend. Use an intentional sort of statement, or I will, because that way it becomes stuck in your head. So you say something like, I intend to grow my monthly coaching clients by 10% by the 31st of March. Right? You make a statement like that. I intend, and then, my enjoy bit, I intend to book 1 2-week holiday for this year. And so book it, or make a plan of when you're going to book it. Do it. It's important to do these things. And back to the first one, what do you have to do to get 6 more clients or 10% more clients? It's not, but and I'm going to, if any of you are marketers or social media experts or advertisers or salespeople, you're going to hate me, because I'm going to say it's not just about that. Yes, you have to have visibility. Then you need the credibility, but speaking to people face to face is probably the best thing you can do for your business if you're trying to get more clients. Really. And I say that even in this day and age, it's making that connection is more likely, unless you're selling jewelry, I guess, and then jewelry is all about Instagram and what it looks like, right? And marketing to catch the emotions. So I don't know who I'm speaking to and what kind of businesses you are. And so that's why you may feel different, because it's not the same kind of business that requires as much structure. But I still recommend, if you do nothing else, just reflect a bit, look back on last year and say, what went well, what worked for me, and keep doing that. And the second question would be, what didn't go so well, and ask yourself, and write down what those things are, and ask yourself, is anything going to change this year, or should I let that go, right? And let it go, so you're not overwhelmed by bringing that in from the previous year. And then you can say, well, actually, it was 2 questions. What could have gone better, and then what are you leaving behind? And the last one would be then, what are the things that you're really interested and passionate about and love doing that you're going to do this year across your life and business, not just business. 5 things.
That's wonderful.
Keep it as simple as that. And if at some point down the line you say, well, I'd like to do a bit better than this, then you can call me.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Both Michelle and Renelle say your 1-page strategy is fantastic. And Renelle loves the fact that you use it for your personal life as well, that you keep the 2 in balance. I think that it's also very important as a business owner. So, Linda, thank you. There don't seem to be
Pleasure.
any more questions coming through. So if anyone does have a question that they haven't posted yet, don't forget I did put Linda's details there, so you are welcome to contact her directly and send your question. You are very welcome to contact her and book a planning session, because I am sure she will be able to help you. And yeah, as I say, I'll share this recording so you can watch it again when you're doing your own planning session. But good luck to everyone for your strategies for the year. Thank you so much, Linda, for the training.
It's my pleasure.
Fantastic.
It's my pleasure. Thank you. I had fun doing it, right?
Good, good. It's GLEE.
With GLEE, yes. It'll go in my GLEE jar.
Wonderful. So I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, and I hope to see you all at our webinar in February as well.
Great. Take care, everybody.
Take care.